Ben Doyle is ready and raring to go here at the British Open for a place in the last 16. He takes on the Welshman Jordan Shepard, and it is Sheppy that gets us underway with the opening break. Race to 6 and 40 minutes, and a dry one for the Welsh Wizard. And Tony Holgate rejoins me on commentary.
Good afternoon, Simon. Yep, looking forward to this game. Ben Doyle, Jordan Shepard. Ben, obviously a member of the Irish international team, teammate of Stevie Dempsey, Sean Sharkey. And a cracking player, Ben. Had a really good World Championships last year, especially team-wise in the averages. He looked their strongest player, to be honest.
Ever since I first saw Ben play over in Ireland in the Irish under-23 team that pretty much dominated for 2 or 3 years, I was just very impressed. Had something about him, not just obviously his break gets talked about, not just the break, but the patterns and the ability and everything else, but just had composure and bottle. And I just was very impressed, and ever since then watched out for his results and seen him kind of work his way through. And here he is now in the pro ranks, fully deserved. And I'm excited to see how he goes this year.
Well, he certainly didn't want that, the bear. Ben Doyle. Yep, shake it ahead. Lost the cue ball. And it's now the Welsh Wizard, Jordan Shepard. This man has been there, done it all pretty much. One of what you would call the elite. Had the same cue for 20 years, he told me the other day, and now he's gone through 5 cues since November.
Yeah, I guess when you've had one that long, you kind of change. It's going to take a while to find another one that you really like.
Yeah, he said basically he'd had the cue for 20 years, he'd have made so many different alterations to it, length-wise and weight-wise. And then, after all that, he said it's about 3 shots on the table, I can't play now with that cue. He said, so I've had to now try different cues.
How many cues did you go through in your career? Are you chopping and changing a lot?
I had a John Paris cue made for me in very early 90s, and I stayed with that until about early 2000s when I smashed it to smithereens in a fit of rage when I was practicing on my own, bizarrely.
That's hard to listen to. Beautiful cue, no more.
Yeah, I was obviously quite distraught when I realised what I'd done. And then I've gone through a couple after that, and yeah, it's hard, it really is.
It's fairly common though for players to have cues for a long period. I mean, I had a cue, two in my life really. Similar story to you, John Paris, and then changed to a Jason Owen cue, and never changed since then. It's so different having spent a lot of time in America. American players chop and change all the time. They're always buying new shafts and trying different things. It's amazing to see how different the games are from that respect.
Yeah, I think American cues are totally different from what we use over here. They'll go out to a shop and buy one, and maybe the weights they change, but they're generally all the same. For me, maybe I'm giving it a bit of what it shouldn't deserve, but by being a little bit blasé with that comment. But they did. I mean, when I went and played American pool, and I went out to Las Vegas. This was in the early 90s, and I bought a McDermott cue. I had a Balabushka, and all sorts of various, and they all felt the same.
Yeah, well, it is amazing, and obviously Jordan trying out lots of different cues of late. That's the scene out in the background right now. Lots of action going on in the British Open and the British Women's Open. See Mary Talbot there in the middle. And still going strong in table 2.
I think we're more with American pool. I think your tip's more important. Obviously you want the right weight, but with our cues that we play with, with let's say ash wood, there's a lot of give in certain cues, you know, the way my cue used to bend in half nearly when I was breaking. Talking about breaking.
I was going to say I've never broken with that much power to be able to do that. But that is a break, isn't it? We talk about his break all the time. It's fabulous.
Then you have to change as well. When we were playing, it was the balls were lighter. So I mean, I played with a 7 mil tip, just above 7.2, which you would never play now with these balls. So that when I do occasionally play, I've now moved up to about an 8 and 8.4, something like that, just to use with these balls. But you see, with the lighter ball, you have to spin the cue ball so much to get it around the table, because the tables are way slower. I mean, these are like glass to play on now. So equipment has changed dramatically over the last sort of 10 or 15 years. And the game's a lot different. The rules are different.
He's got to get this one right. He's got a little bit of margin for error because he can use the red on the next shot just to hold. Yeah, just got to be careful. Could easily just flick off the red and get a little bit close to the yellow, but dead weight should work.
Yeah, I think he just pushes the red towards the bottom row when he comes through this.
Yeah, he did go a little bit too far across, but he's okay. Might use the red in the middle of the table here just to hold.
Yeah, anything sort of full ball and to the right is fine. So it doesn't want to go and hit the cue ball the other side. Like that.
It's the one thing you couldn't do. Has he gone far enough to get away with it? Overhead says it's tight. He's very fortunate if he's on this, and he's eyeing up the potting angle, so he must be. Very, very fortunate, that one for Ben Doyle. Job done though.
Lucky boy. Did not play for that position on the black. But like you said, he went far enough up the table that he could just scrape through. And it's the Irishman who draws first blood.
Tournament starting to take shape in the last 16, which is where the winner of this match will go. Top half already safely at that stage. Cole Bedford, who we've just seen win, he'll play Chris Melling. Josh Kane will play Christy Caulfield. Shane Thompson will play Rab Mack, or Robert McCulloch. And Scott Pope will play Zach Cooper. That is the top half of the draw in that order as well. Shelley makes a ball this time. Just the one by the 8 ball. I think he's going to deal with these 3 at the top first, then come down. If the one by the 8 ball goes bottom left past the 8 ball, then no need to move it. If it doesn't, just needs to play a subtle cannon of some sort to get onto it. I think that tells us this red does pass the 8 ball. Unless the red into the left centre, maybe is what he's looking at. does pass. Very nicely done. And very nicely done from Jordan Shepard. Excellent clearance. Quite amazing, actually, to think that Jordan had such a down year last year. Didn't feel like he did. Going through it, you know, had a very good year before, but fallen down to 19th in the rankings now, which is too low for Jordan Shepard.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you look at Jordan, you just immediately think top 5. To be 19th. He's mixing his Q sports a bit.
Yeah, playing a lot in China, playing in America, and obviously here in Ultimate Pool as well. Was focusing on snooker for a while, but it's sort of taken a back seat over the last 18 months or so.
Break there by the bear. Awkward looking cluster on the left hand side of the table there.
Really using his time there to try and figure out how he wants to go about this. But he's going to leave that bad ball very late. Yellow off red, do you think, Tony?
Yep, that's what he's eyeing up, definitely. You can play it. You can play it at a certain pace where the red will go into the side rail and come back out and knock that other yellow out as well. That's pretty good. The beauty of this shot as well is because he can stop the white dead, he can hold for that yellow that's just sat there on its own. As long as nothing comes out and gets in the way, it doesn't really matter where this yellow goes as long as it comes out into the open.
And he's on it straight away, or he can play for it in the middle.
If Ben can hold the cue ball, I'd rather play it now. I think he can just about do that.
Yeah, playing for it in the centre doesn't get you good access to the 8 ball because you're going into the red. I really don't like it in the centre pocket.
Maybe he comes right back up, place it in the corner anyway. Yeah, I don't like this.
No. Remember the frame he has one, he was very fortunate to land on the 8 ball, and you feel like he's going to need a touch of fortune again. He hasn't got the room to get across the right hand side. I don't know how he avoids the red unless it's very deceptive. Yeah, I think now he'd like to have his decision again.
You won't want to try and power it in either because, well, that was always going to happen going into the red, like you said, Simon.
He didn't even look at the yellow to bottom left when he was on it.
No.
And he could have played, if he didn't like being on it how he was, he could have played on it better. There was more room there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's missed the trick there, has Ben.
Could be a very big moment in this match. Ben will be very disappointed, especially if he watches this frame back and sees what we saw there. You could only ever see that ending the way it did.
I think he just had tunnel vision for that route he planned and was never going to change his mind away from it, and it's basically cost him the frame. There's no way in the world that Jordan Shepard's going to miss from here.
3-1 for Jordan Shepard, halfway to the target of 6. And this time it's punishing an error from Ben, so this one will hurt. First big blow in the match. Still plenty going on here in Daventry. The last 16 for the Women's British Open has been completed. They're now waiting for their quarter-finals. Let me run through a few scores for you. Lucy Smith won 5-2 over Lindsay Roberts. Charlie McDonough won 5-3 over Kim Beresford. Amy Beecham 5-2 over Sophie Gibbs-Nichols. Kirsty Davies has beaten Yusra Belazri 5-1. Big score of the morning session. Danielle Randall has knocked out the number 1 player, Harriet Haynes, 5-4. Danielle has won. Same scoreline for Mary Talbot over Casey Ramford-Norrie. Vicky Lomax 5-2 victory over Cheryl Dickinson, and Lindsay Schultz lost 5-0 to Savannah Lowe. We will see the quarter-final between Amy Beecham and Kirsty Lee Davies. The 2 favourites for the tournament left in the tournament now that Harriet's out. They square off in the next match for us. That is the quarter-final. The winner of that will be the favourite to take it down, but the Women's Series is so deep now. It could go any way. They'll certainly be the favourite. Needs an opening red here. Reds look good.
Can you get through to the one at the top? Into the top right, just must be able to, because he's queuing it down. Yep. And Jordan will like these.
Yeah, just got to be careful on a couple of shots, but everything actually goes and has their own pocket. Might be a touch thin here. Yeah, he is. I was assuming he'd want to play on the one. Oh, he could get there, the one nearest the bottom right, because that sort of opens up the one next to it, and then everything has its own pocket.
Does he have a tiny bit of angle? If you could punch this into the bottom left, then the cue into the yellow that's just above that red that's also near that left-hand pocket. Oh, he's going to kick the black out. Well, he must have a bit more room than I think. Down into that left-hand side, it just... That's his only tricky little manoeuvre, is to get onto that.
Do you think the 8-ball went? To me, I was always working on the assumption it did go, but you wouldn't move it if it went, unless he felt he couldn't connect them together with it like that. Targeting the yellow, he'll take it. Well, I say he'll take it. That's actually awkward because he's now bridging. He wanted to get the yellow full ball, and then he wouldn't have this issue because he missed it or skimmed by it and used the cushion. That's what's caused the issue. Rushed that, strangely. Stretched, but then was hit it almost on the move. So first big error in the match for Jordan Shepard. Chance for Ben Doyle to respond after the mistake of the previous frame.
Well. I didn't see that coming. He's overcut that by some distance.
Is he playing that with quite a bit of right-hand side just to avoid the centre pocket to go twice across? And that throws out. Just a very surprising miss.
We've had two in the same frame, and Jordan Shepard probably cannot quite believe he's actually going to go and win this frame.
Once you make a mistake like he did, you're expecting to lose it. 3-2, 4-1, very different score lines.
You know, I mean, okay, you wouldn't expect Jordan to miss the ball he did, but he was stretching and bridging over a ball. For Ben's was just in open play. I don't know whether he obviously got something in his mind where he probably thought he was sending the cue ball near a middle bag, and he thought, oh no, I'll check it, and then he's not adjusted. Just it too, because when you play with side, you throw the cue ball. And
Yeah.
I just think he's just not adjusted before he played the shot.
Two mistakes that Ben's made in the match. What is surprising for me is that very kind of fundamental errors, really, for a player of his level. You know, it's a surprise to see.
He's got some break on him, this lad. I'll give him his due.
He played in the Champions League back when he was a challenger, and I was on commentary with Gareth Potts, and we were both blown away with the just sheer volume of balls he was making off the break. He was averaging over 3 balls a break for the whole night. It was incredible, the power he was breaking with, and the control was there the whole time as well.
But when you watch him break off, it looks quite effortless. It's not like he's giving it a big Happy Gilmore and a run-up. It's just a good, clean strike. And it is an enormous break. My word, he's missed another one. Not done so much damage this time because he's not left anything particularly easy for Jordan Shepard, but again, what would be considered quite a straightforward pot. Ben's rattled it. He's visibly shaken. Well, that one wiped its feet for Jordan.
Yeah, good news for Jordan. It's a brand new table, brand new cloth. Balls are polished and it's been freshly ironed because that looked wide. And you go up for the one at the top. I suspect now it will have to be last. Well, it looks like is he trying to work hard to leave the red bottom right as his connection to the 8 ball, perhaps, rather than leaving the one at the top, but actually the yellow stops him from getting good position up there. This is really tough.
I think he might have to take this in the top corner. He's going to try and punch this with right-hand side. Scream the cube off the side with the back up. He's gone straight in the middle with the white. That's where he wanted to go. It's an enormous amount of side he's trying to put on that cue ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. Where he landed, take it to the top. Cue ball bumps into the 8 ball, so you knock that towards the right-hand side, and then you've got to kind of play bottom right and cross the diagonal of the table. Not hanging about, just simply because you're mindful of the clock. Not concerned with it, just mindful. And then might as well get it done quickly when you're trailing behind by 3. That's to your advantage. And now he trails by 2. As we tick into the second half on the match clock. Only 2 other matches still going on in this round of games. That is the last 32 of the British Open. Callum Singleton and Jimmy Croxton are all square at 3-all. Michael Hope, having knocked out Declan Brennan, is now 3-2 up over Carl O'Donoghue. Michael Hope having a great competition. No major surprises as I scan through at this stage, considering the sheer volume of shocks we had. Or not, shocks is the wrong word, because at the highest level everyone is capable of beating everyone, but we saw so many big names fall at the last 64. It was a little bit more as expected through the last 32. We saw wins for Cobb Everett over Dom Cooney. Chris Melling beat Andrew Milliard 6-2. Josh Kane beat Aaron Davies 6-3. Christy Caulfield beat Hitton Mattel 6-1. Shane Thompson beat Preston McInnes 6-0. 6-0. Robert McCulloch beat Dave Fernandez 6-4. Scott Pope beat Aidan Hughes 6-4. Zach Cooper has continued his good form and beaten Vivek Mack 6-4. Kevin George has continued his good run as well. After knocking out Craig Waddingham, he has beaten Tom Jones. Sean Sharkey beat Neil Raybone 6-4. Carl Sutton won 6-1 over Leo Fernandez. Sean Story 6-3 over Darryl Whitworth, and Stevie Dempsey 6-2 over whacker Rob Warne. So a few underdogs winning there, but not the sheer volume of big names falling as we saw in the early stages, where most of the top 10 all fell apart and were knocked out. A reminder that our next match here on Ultimate Pool TV will be from the Women's British Open. We'll see player of the moment, Cussley Davies, who's been riding high for a while. Technically the third seed, taking on Amy Beach in the second seed for the competition, or second ranked. The event's actually not seeded.
No.
Oh, he knew it. You could hear him. He knew exactly where that cue ball was going.
I want a tenner for every time Jordan said no. Yeah, heartbreak for the Welsh wizard there.
Yeah, he's seen this script before, hasn't he? He's thinking 4-4.
Well, you
Look at this layout.
Well, that was his layout, the way that Jordan's looking at it. He's thinking, I would have been putting them beyond the hill. And instead, Ben Doyle says, thank you. And I'll get myself back to within one frame in this match.
Not hanging about again, just got myself in line and flow through it. As expected, Doyle mops them up for reverse clearance, 4-3. He now trails. Has the next break as well. 17:33 left, and Jordan is still saying no to himself. All the action concludes today. More to fit in over the course of the next few hours. Final scheduled for around 9 p.m. tonight here on Ultimate Pool TV. You'll also see the Women's British Open final as well. Be scheduled for about 8 p.m. It's just a brilliant, brilliant break. It's just on repeat with Ben Doyle.
Yeah, his timing's bang on when he hits the pack. It really is, and he generates so much power with, again, I'll say it, with what seems like very little effort.
The big easy.
Yeah. Well, he's moved the entire pack to the other half of the table.
Yeah, it's actually hit it so well. It's not come out as well as it could have done, because it's all gone congested at the top of the table. He wants red, so he's taken on a trickier opening ball because of it, and he's made it. So now reds are better than yellows for sure.
Uh-oh. Played his red. Knocked the yellow out of the way, but where did he knock the yellow? Right in front of the black ball.
It's another one that you'd say is a slightly careless error, really. Where was the yellow going to go at that pace?
Yeah, it's not too bad, really, at a second glance of this. The black ball, I think, does pass into that bottom right-hand corner. Or should I say top? Because the balls are all been in the other end of the table, I've got confused. I thought we're sat in a different position.
I've got a trick, Tony, that will help you. That we call
Okay.
the top pockets are the ones that are at the top of the screen, and the bottom ones are the ones at the bottom.
Do you know what? Thanks for that.
Glad I could help.
Well,
He obviously does go because he's played on it, so it's no issues really with the yellow getting in the way. And it is all square, so that in-off break, which was essentially cost a frame just because of the quality of the layout, would have been certain for Jordan to make the clearance to go 5-2. It is now 4-4 and he hasn't touched the table. Completely different match from the last time that Jordan Shepard was out there ready to play a shot.
yeah, it's been an incredible turnaround. But that's how these tournaments go, these matches. Someone's sailing away like with a nice 3-frame cushion. Everything's fine and dandy in the garden, and then all of a sudden, one in-off a break, one little just bad kiss, and you're back level. And everything on the break is going against Jordan Shepard. That's 2 in a row now.
But this time it's him though, this time it's straight in. First time it was very unlucky, that time it's all on Jordan, and there is more work this time though for Ben Doyle. That'll do. Very nicely played. I was just trying to work out whether, obviously Ben only had eyes for the clearance. It's like, how do I pot a ball and develop the only bad red on the table? But I say only bad red. The red by the 8 ball's not good either. I was considering, was taking a yellow and then playing the loss of turn a good option, because then I think yellow's become a really good layout, and you'd have the red at the top will be tied up.
I don't think that's in Ben's locker. I think
No, it's rare you see any player play that sort of shot, but I was just trying to work out whether that was an option. And then he played the breakout, which went well, and then misses the plant.
yeah, it's all jump on the bike and just pedal as fast as you can for the line.
I like that. Nice way of thinking at it.
Could be lots of turn coming here very shortly, unless he's thinking of going game and playing the combination. But
No, I think he's fully going game here.
Yeah. It's just a second yellow, isn't it? This is pretty straightforward to just pot this and roll the yellow in behind the red. It's getting on the next one.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a chance the next one goes. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
Well, he felt it did go. Half a pocket maybe at best. I'm with you, Tony, at the start there. If Jordan comes to the table and plays the loss of turn, I know there's another red left at the top, but all Ben could do is potentially play a loss of turn again, and then he's big second favourite for the frame. And I think if Jordan comes to the table, plays a loss of turn, he becomes a huge favourite to win the frame. Oh, he's still favourite to win the frame with that terrible shot from Ben.
Yeah, there's some funny things happening out in that arena at the moment with these two.
For a second there, I thought he'd made that. It's actually got a little bit fortunate with it drawing and blocking the yellow, because if it doesn't, Jordan's already potted 2 balls here.
Once again, nothing easy. The Welshman needs to find a big shot. And he's found one.
His turn to have a little bump. A little bit of fortune there for Jordan. Balances itself out though, of course. Ben's had a couple. Jordan's had a couple go against him as well. That was a nice one for him. And he gets himself back in front. So a lot going on in that frame. Both players could have, maybe should have won it. In the end, it does go the Welsh Wizards' way. And that reaction tells us exactly how he feels about it. Our next matchup, I already mentioned this, but let's confirm it is Kersley Davies taking on Amy Beecham, the 2 favourites for the British Women's Open. Since Harriet Haynes, the number 1 player, has been eliminated, this is numbers 2 and 3 in the rankings, and they're going to battle it out in the quarterfinals. And that is next up, and then we will have a match from the last 16 of the British Open as well to round out our afternoon. And we'll be back at 5 o'clock for the continuation and conclusion of the British Open with the quarterfinals at 5 o'clock. How many top professionals would pay a lot of money to have that break?
It's incredible. It's so consistent as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got players that are great. They've got great breaks, but they haven't got the consistency that Ben Doyle has to just do it all the time. I mean, it's worth 2 frames in a match, probably.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. He's made a few mistakes in open play in this match, hasn't he? And he looks back, if Jordan clears up here, and he's got every chance he will on these yellows, then Ben can look back at this match and think this is one that got away. He had enough chances to be winning this match.
That's 3 of those now, and that's not counting when he's fell out of position. 3 missed pots from open play.
Yeah, just too many. Some players are going to. You're not going to play a flawless match. That's understood, but it's more the level of the mistakes that Ben's made. He's made 2 or 3 really, really kind of fundamental errors.
Not just that, Simon. It's when he's done them. I mean, he's just missed out the start of this frame, and he's just handed the frame straight to Jordan Shepard and the match, potentially.
Well, it should be. Depends how guarded the 8-ball is.
I would have thought that Jordan would have looked at that.
Yeah, does he just have to get above it?
It's a roll in here, I think.
Oh, it goes top left. No, I didn't know that. That makes a big difference. And this is the 8-ball for it. A really enjoyable match, filled with quality and drama. Both players entertaining us, but it comes down to those mixy frames, and it was Jordan Shepard that got himself in front and into the last 16 of the British Open.